That puzzle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
It's the homie cook-up boss, goddammit, Cub Low. And y'all tuning in to the Wake and Bake Show with goddammit the homeboy Spider Low.
Here with SPI, the realest nigga in LA.
Spider this bitch!
My nigga is Spider Low. Spider Low, nigga.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low, that's my nigga.
Spider Low.
Spider Low. Shout out to SPI, that motherfucking nigga.
You are now in the black box with the homie Spider Low, the most eastiest. Facts over feelings, keeping it a Google Plex. Feel my campaign.
Spider Low, Wake and Bake. Better keep it Google, nigga.
Loke is in LA somewhere doing what he's doing.
G, gratitude is the attitude. Show is a blessing to be back in the black box as we blow a succession. One of my supporters sent me this video, and all I could tell going in is that NBA YoungBoy is going off on Johnny Dang about some fake jewels. I know he probably spent a pretty penny. I remember it was a time in my life when you would never catch me with fake jewelry. I don't feel that same way about jewelry as I once did. I don't care about jewelry enough to have fake jewelry. But if I had action or found myself in a position where I would need jewelry for a moment, an event, a photograph, a video, I would feel nothing about throwing on some fake jewelry to be photographed in. I don't no longer see the sense in walking around with something worth putting up on my body. It's just a million reasons. I was always fortunate. Nobody never tried me. All my life, I've been amongst the triers. But the older you get, the younger the takers are, the less they aware of anything that caused you to never be victimized, and you just running a chance out here with this stupid amount of jewelry on for no reason, losing it, damaging it. I just stepped on my earring the other day. I was gonna wait to go to the jewelry store to see if they could bend it, fix it, but I took my time and bent it back. But I'm always doing something to jewelry, losing it. But yeah, let's see what's happening with NBA YoungBoy. I remember the last time I heard about NBA YoungBoy and some jewelry. I don't know if it was jewelry, but it was his car keys and some other belongings. I think it was some jewelry too. Jay Prince and them had it. And Errol Spence, right before Terrence Crawford beat the brakes off of him, he told him, y'all can keep that. If y'all really was trying to tap in, it should have been offline. And I respected him for saying that. But let's see with no further ado what NBA YoungBoy and Johnny Dang have been up to.
Johnny wouldn't have did nothing better than what I got in my mind, which I don't understand. Johnny wanted to put some smile in my mind because he didn't want to go the size that I didn't want to go to because he didn't want to do what I wanted to do for the money.
Not long ago, Sauce Walka dragged Johnny Dang to filth for selling him fake diamond jewelry. However, word is that NBA YoungBoy just joined the conversation and has
So this ain't the first time? Damn, coming to the black community and try to work us. You know, one time I had a white gold chain, right? And when I went to buy it, it was kind of short. So the jeweler, he showed me a bracelet, same exact linkage to link with it to be a good size. Bam, had it for some years. Then when I went to the pawn shop, years later, got low to go take it in. Oh boy, scratching it, and he like, this ain't no gold, it's silver. I'm like, huh? I took it back to the jeweler. Mind you, at this point, I didn't remember the bracelet to the end of this, like after it was all said and done. But so I take it to the jeweler. I'm like, I just went through a whoop. He like scratch on it, it come back. He like, it's silver Spider, look. I don't know what he's talking about. Whoop. So I take it to another pawn shop. They tell me the same thing. So this time, cuz I go back up there, I don't want to hear nothing. Y'all know who Eminem is, and y'all know. I still deal with his wife. I don't know what happened to Eminem. But I go down there, I'm like, cuz, check this out. I don't want to hear nothing. Ooh. He's like, Sparta, how much you pay for? I said, I gave you 20-something money. So I made him, he gave me 2 bands. And then sometime down the line, it hit me. Oh, that's what it was. That motherfucking bracelet was silver. The chain was white gold, but the bracelets were silver. Oh, my mama. And I told you how 50 worked me out the diamonds out of that watch. after he had taught and told me for a long time, if you don't know your jewels, you better know your jeweler. You're dealing with jewelry, you got to either be an expert in jewels or you need to know your jeweler and trust him very well. He used to say that, it sounded like cliche. And down the line, he whooped me with that same concept. I see what he mean. Because I didn't know my jeweler and I didn't know my jewels, I turned my watch into his jeweler that he knew, Chris Ayers, a watch that he had gifted me. And while they had it, they swapped my diamonds out. I didn't know my jewels for some bullshit. Oh, my mama.
Even sent a warning to Johnny for the same fake jewelry. Well, let's take a look at how Youngboy's name ended up in the middle of it. The King of Bling. Johnny Dang arrived in the United States in 1996 with no English, no connections, and no money. He was 23 years old when he landed in Houston to reunite with his father, who had escaped Vietnam by boat nearly a decade earlier, and set up a small jewelry repair operation in the city. On his second day in the country, Dang was behind a flea market booth, repairing gold by hand. By 1998, he had his first store, TV Jewelry, inside Sharpstown Mall. By 2002, he had a business partner named Paul Wall and a new name for the shop, Johnny Dang & Co. What Dang understood early was the gap between what hip-hop wanted from jewelry and what the industry was offering at the time. He built custom diamond grills that did not require filing down teeth, a painful and standard practice elsewhere. Paul Wall wore them. Rappers saw Paul.
I never knew that was his thing, that you didn't have to file your teeth down. I wonder how you accomplished that.
Wall. They came to Houston. They kept coming. Nelly referenced him in Grills in 2006. Kanye West came through. Jay-Z came through. Beyonce, Travis Scott, Lil Wayne, Chief Keef, 21 Savage, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. All of them have pieces from Johnny Dang & Co. Simone Biles got custom wedding grills there in 2023. The shop moved from the mall to a standalone flagship at 6224 Richmond Ave in Houston in 2016. 16,000 square feet, 50 plus jewelers working in-house, a VIP grills wall displaying every celebrity client's mold and photo. The man built an empire worth an estimated $200 million, not by luck and not by accident, by understanding exactly what rappers needed.
How do we as black people always seem to be successful in putting a whole bunch of money in a non-black person pocket? How do we come up with all this money and never are able to utilize it to empower our own people? That's crazy.
Delivering it consistently and treating every client the same, whether they were spending $500 or $500,000. So when March 2026 arrived and the internet started asking serious questions about what was actually inside those pieces, about whether the diamonds and the chains and grills that had built that empire were what they were sold as, the whole industry paid attention. The claim that drove the conversation was specific and damaging, that Johnny Dang & Co. had been selling lab-grown CVD diamonds to clients while charging them the price of natural.
Hey, that's when I say fake jewelry. I'm talking about lab diamonds, even her moisturizer. I wear that shit. Oh, my. But these lab diamonds in this watch, real diamonds in the ring, real diamonds in the ears. But these is lab diamonds. Oh, my. I don't give a fuck.
Stones. CVD stands for chemical vapor deposition, a process that creates diamonds in a laboratory by exposing carbon-rich gas to controlled temperatures and pressures. The result is chemically identical to a natural mined diamond. Same carbon structure, same hardness, same fire under light. A basic diamond tester cannot distinguish between the two. Neither can the naked eye, or even most trained jewelers without specialized equipment. What distinguishes them is price. A 2-carat natural mined diamond might cost a jeweler $20,000.
That's how I know my brother, a cold nigga. Shout out Big Spider, because he know it. He can eyeball. You can't trick him. I don't give a and it's a culture of people like him. People used to be out here on that. Man, they spot a diamond from a mile away in a dark club out of 100 people wearing jewelry. They know just what's the real shit, the bullshit. All look the same to me.
To acquire. A CVD equivalent of the same size might cost $3,000 to $5,000. If a finished piece carries a $100,000 price tag and the buyer believes every stone is natural and the stones are lab grown, the jeweler pockets the difference. The buyer has no way of knowing without sending their stones to a certified gemological lab for advanced spectroscopic testing, equipment that does not exist in a rap studio or a jewelry showroom, and that most buyers would never think to seek out from someone they have trusted for years. That was the accusation. information. And it surfaced not from a court filing, not from a news investigation, but from social media, Instagram lives and YouTube compilations that went viral starting March 17, 2026. Titles like Sauce Walka exposes Johnny Dang for selling fake diamonds lit up the hip-hop side of YouTube and spread to TikTok, X, and Facebook within hours. The views climbed into the hundreds of thousands in days. The voice leading the charge was not a journalist or a regulator. It was a Houston rapper named Sauce Walka, a man who had spent over 20 years and, by his own account, millions of dollars as a Johnny Dang customer. And the things he said in those viral clips were not vague or hedged. They were direct, personal, and very loud. The story spread fast because it had the architecture of something people already wanted to believe, that the floss was manufactured, that the shine was hollow, that the rappers wearing hundreds of thousands of dollars in ice might not have known what they were actually buying. And once it started spreading, more names got pulled in. To understand where NBA Youngboy fits in this story, or whether he fits in it at all, you have to start where the fire started, with Sauce Walka, with 20 years of trust, and with the exact moment that trust ran out. 20 years of trust. The relationship between Sauce Walka and Johnny Dang was not a business arrangement. It was a bond, the kind forged slowly over 2 decades of transactions that blur the line between commerce and brotherhood, where the jeweler knows the client's tooth structure from...
I already made my thumbnail for it, and Sauce Walka ain't on it. I just thought it was all NBA Youngboy. I like the thumbnail so much, I might keep it that way, but might need to add Sauce Walka onto the thumbnail. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Memory, and the client refers his entire circle to the shop without being asked, not because of an incentive, but because of belief. Sauce Walka, Houston rapper, TSF gang founder, one of the most aesthetically maximalist figures in the city's rap scene, had been spending with John...
Damn, Duke the Jeweler was the black jeweler, huh? Rest in peace. That's crazy. Even on top of that, Johnny Dang could come in, scam, whoop people, get in, get out, and do it multiple times. Duke the Jeweler, own people, lose his life just trying to function. That's crazy.
Johnny Dang since the early 2000s.
Probably was doing all fair business. Shout out Crip Mac.
He was not a passive customer. He was a walking proof of concept. Every time Walka stepped out in a piece, every music video flex, every Instagram post, every concert appearance in front of thousands of people, he was putting the Johnny Dang name in front of exactly the audience the brand needed to reach. And over 20 plus years, he reportedly spent millions doing it. The most talked about single purchase in their relationship was the $500,000 Cuban link chain, a deal significant enough that it was reportedly handled inside a Chase Bank branch, with Johnny Dang personally delivering the finished piece. Both men posted about it publicly. It was a celebration of what 2 decades of loyalty and spending had produced.
I'm the one spent the $500,000. I did that. I'm the only that got the same necklace that Floyd Mayweather got.
$500,000, the same piece as Floyd Mayweather. Walka wore that distinction like a second chain around his neck, the pride of a man who believed his relationship with his jeweler was operating at the highest.
Imagine that clip aging to understand what Floyd Mayweather is going through right now. I'm just saying. I wonder how much of that shit has he liquidated in his attempt to get his finances under rein. I know he back out here squabbing though for the big bag again. Shout out Floyd.
Level money could reach.
How many rappers you put the chain on and they walked out this whole not with you? I see you put it on another rapper.
Even in that same clip, the current of something unresolved runs underneath.
Okay, $10,000 chain, $100,000 chain, $500,000 chain. What does it actually enhance as far as your experience in life as you escalate in price? Do you calm harder? Do you got a different tingle when you busting that? Do your food taste better? Do you breathe better? Like, what do you live longer? Does it make you stronger? Like, what is the purpose of doing that? That's like, I don't understand why people pay thousands of dollars for a pair of jeans. On my mama, if I get a pair of jeans for less than 100, some brand new jeans, I'm gonna grab them. 100 is like my limit. I'm not looking to buy no expensive ass jeans. $1,000 on a pair of jeans? Huh? What? Stop it.
The surface. Walka knew that other rappers walked through that shop, got pieces put on them, and kept it moving. He understood his own loyalty as something that set him apart from the traffic, as something that deserved to be recognized differently. He had invested in the relationship.
My concept of jewelry is I like it to accentuate what I already believe is an attractive appearance. Some people seemingly look like they try to utilize jewelry to create the attractiveness. I just want to highlight, I like the way jewelry looks the same way I like the way clothes look when they're coordinated. Jewelry just accentuates a presentable look. I don't look for jewelry to create value within myself. And it seems like a lot of people do.
For 2 decades. He believed in it with his money and his name. The other landmark purchase was the $300,000 diamond ring commissioned in the aftermath of a Memphis shooting that Walka survived. He walked out of a hospital and walked into Johnny Dang's shop and spent $300,000 on a piece to mark being alive. That is not the behavior of a man with doubts. That is the behavior.
I don't count no nigga pockets. It's just what no man should do. But just think, we had people like Tupac at one time. And you know what Tupac said about us having excess. Now, there's nothing wrong with having excess. But when you just squander money like this, and there's so many people that you can help, just makes me wonder, man, about the quality of your character, man. I don't know, man. If to be spending millions and millions of dollars on items that you could have spent a few thousand on and still look good in, and then you could have utilized that money to do something far more productive. I just question, not any one individual, I question that mind frame, period.
Behavior of a man who, in one of the most charged moments of his life, chose a specific jeweler to celebrate survival. And then, at some point between that, ring in August 2024, something cracked. The immediate spark for the public break was the grill. Sauce Walka had a vision, the biggest permanent diamond grill ever made. 28 teeth, 50 plus carats, rose gold, 3 carat and 1 carat stones throughout. A piece that had never been built before and could not be confused with anything that had. He went to Johnny Dang first. What happened in that conversation is described differently by each side, but the core of the disagreement is documented in what Walka said on camera.
If you know how much negotiating goes down at the jeweler, then you'll get a concept of how big their profit margin is and how big that markup is. When you pull up that number you see, how they used to tell you was at the car lot, it ain't really like at the car lot. The car lot got a lot less wiggle room than I was taught when I was young. But jewelers, gang of wiggle room. That should be marked up. They profit margins are stupid, dumb, ridiculous. Oh, my mama.
Johnny wouldn't have did nothing better than what I got in my mind, which I don't understand. Johnny wanted to put some smile in my mind.
Dang, by Walka's account, wanted to put something smaller in his mouth, something more proportional, something that would fit the way grills are supposed to fit. Walka was not interested.
I don't want no free. He wanted to give me some free that was way smaller than this. I don't want no free.
Dang had reportedly offered Walka free pieces, a gesture that, in any other context between a jeweler and a long-term client, would have read as generosity.
Sauce Walka just too deep into his bread, and it went to his head. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he don't even give a about free. It's time to hit a lick back now. This dude been licking you. Now it's time to hit a lick back. I would have had to at least play him about the free pieces. Kiss my ass.
Built over years. Walka heard it as a ceiling being placed on what he was allowed to have. He rejected it completely.
I want my money and I want to go over the top, best of the best, biggest of the biggest, make it work. That's not going to fit.
He wanted to pay. He wanted to pay $1 million for the largest grill a human being had ever inserted into their mouth. He wanted a jeweler who would make that happen without flinching.
It's not going to fit in your mouth. Correct. It's not going to, I don't give a fuck if it's going to fit. Make it fit.
Make it fit. That is the sentence that defines the entire.
Well, I mean, these people with these veneers, they don't be giving enough. It seems like 97% of the people that get veneers these days, they got a whole new way they talk now. They're trying to talk around them teeth.
Entire break. After 20 plus years, after $500,000 for a single chain, after $300,000 for a ring bought in the shadow of a near-death experience, when Johnny Dong said the piece Walka wanted could not be made the way he wanted it made, Walka went somewhere else. He went to Plug Geo, a man who had spent years working inside Johnny Dang's shop as one of its most productive designers, before walking out in April 2021 with a list of grievances and, critically, a set of knowledge about the internal operations of the business that would take years to fully detonate. The $1 million million permanent diamond grill that Gio produced was installed at the dentist's office on camera. In the video, Walka's old Johnny Dang grills were physically removed from his mouth before Gio's work went in. The symbolism was not subtle. 20 years of loyalty removed tooth by tooth. And when those clips hit social media in August 2024 and reignited in March 2026, what had begun as a disagreement over grill dimensions quickly became something far more combustible. Because when Walka started talking publicly about what he believed was wrong with the—
Oh yeah, y'all would never see the thumbnail I got. It gotta have Sauce Walk on there. I don't know. I thought it was all about NBA Youngboy.
pieces he had purchased across 2 decades, the conversation shifted from size to substance, from too small to too fake. And the word that kept surfacing in the viral expose videos and the social media threads and the YouTube comment sections that lit up with thousands of responses was CVD. The March 2026 expose videos framed it without ambiguity. Lab-grown diamonds charged at natural diamond prices, sold to clients who trusted the shop completely and had no reason to question what they were being given. I spent millions with this man. Come to find out, half my ice fake. Lab shit disguised as VVS natural. He knew. This ain't no mistake. This robbery. Those words broke the internet. And with them came the second voice in the story. The one that said he had not just experienced the alleged fraud from the outside, but had watched it operate from within the walls of the shop itself. The insider. In the diamond industry, there is a principle called full disclosure, the foundational obligation that a seller must tell a buyer exactly what they are purchasing. Natural mined stones and lab-grown stones carry different documentation. GIA certificates, the gold standard in gemological certification, the credential that the industry trusts above all others, state clearly whether a diamond was formed over billions of years deep in the earth or grown in a laboratory over the course of several weeks. A jeweler who sells a lab-grown stone without disclosing its origin is not merely being opaque. In the context of a piece priced at natural diamond rates, the allegation is straightforward. It is fraud. Plug Gio, real name Jose Mata, known also as Gio Mata, Plug Gio, or Mr. 10F1, was inside Johnny Dang and Co. long enough to understand exactly how the stones were being sourced, how they moved through the manufacturing process, and how they were ultimately represented to the clients paying premium prices for the finished pieces. He arrived as a craftsman. He was good, exceptionally good. His eye for custom design, his speed, and his ability to build and maintain client relationships made him one of the shop's most valuable assets. The scale of his contribution is something Gio himself put into numbers. $9 million in revenue generated in a single year. In the custom hip-hop jewelry business, where individual pieces might range from $10,000 to several $100,000, generating $9 million in 12 months requires not just craftsmanship, but trust. It requires clients who come back specifically for you, who send their people specifically to you, who build an entire purchasing relationship on the strength of your name within the shop's walls. And then, in April 2021, Gio walked out and went on camera. What he described in that 2021 video was the structural foundation of everything that would explode across hip-hop 5 years later. He alleged that Johnny Dang and Co. had been inserting CVD lab-grown diamonds into pieces that were sold to customers as containing natural mined stones, not as a one-time incident or a sourcing error, but as a systemic practice, operating with knowledge of what was being done and to whom it was being done. The economics he laid out were devastating in their clarity. A natural 2-carat diamond might cost the shop $20,000 to acquire on the wholesale market. A CVD 2-carat stone of equivalent visual quality might cost $3,000 to $5,000, sometimes less. If the finished piece carries a price tag of $100,000, priced on the promise that every stone is natural, the shop theoretically pockets $60,000 to $60,000.
I told you about how crazy their markup was, but I just thought about throughout these years, all of us in the ghetto, okay, you know how many lab diamonds we probably done flossed and wore thinking we had the real deal, just because this high profile shit got blew up. Downtown Diamond District ain't no telling, cuz, especially once they knew way before we knew that they would pass the diamond tester. Wow. Sheesh.
$65,000 more than it would if it disclosed the origin of the stone and priced accordingly. Multiplied across dozens of pieces per month, across years of operation, at the scale Johnny Dang & Co. operates, the alleged profit margin becomes a staggering number. But Gio's allegations extended beyond the diamond sourcing. They reached into the—
You know, this is very rare that a jeweler actually wears jewelry anywhere near to the capacity that he sells it. It seems like it still applies. Don't get high on your own supply. It's only us niggas dying to look fly. And the real rich people barely even try. I wonder why. Is it you and I really came from the sky? No, I'm going too long. And I'm saying all this, and he ain't even black. But he still is seemingly mimicking black culture. You see what I'm saying? Oh, my mama.
The treatment of the people who made the operation run. He had generated $9 million in a single year for the business. His commission rate was set at 2%. When he pushed back and requested 4%, he was told no. When he requested a raise in base compensation, the offer extended to him was $2 additional per hour. In Gio's own words, I made you $9 million in a year. Just give me 4% commission. He would give me 2%.
And he go against what I was just saying. And you see, he ain't the owner. He getting commission. The owner ain't jeweled up. Now the female jeweler that I know, she has nice earrings, nice ring, but ladies more so in the jewelry than men outside of our culture. Oh, my mama.
Commission. And then when I asked him for a raise, he said, oh, I'm going to give you a $2 raise. Then Sauce Walka made his move, and the fuse that had been sitting there since 2021 finally found the flame it needed. It is worth being precise about what CVD diamonds are, because precision matters here. They are not fake. They are real diamonds in every scientific and physical sense. Same carbon structure, same hardness rating, same optical properties, same behavior under UV light. The controversy in this—
Once I learned that, I stopped giving a now. The issue of him selling one in place of the other is scandalous, foul, no good, boo-boo. But as a consumer, I just couldn't see myself going out my way to, especially if I'm stacking and saving or on layaway, to try to get the real diamond out the ground versus getting something that looks good that was made in the lab. I would have to have a whole lot to be that picky these days.
This story is not about whether lab-grown diamonds are inferior stones. It is about disclosure and pricing parity. If a buyer pays for natural mined stones and receives lab-grown stones,
that's not fair business.
At the same price without being told about the distinction, the issue is not quality, it is the integrity of the transaction. And that distinction, real versus natural, disclosed versus undisclosed, is precisely what a basic handheld diamond tester is incapable of resolving. It is what makes Gio's insider testimony about sourcing so structurally damaging to Dang's position. And it is what Dang's own public statement about the near impossibility of distinguishing lab-grown from natural with the naked eye, a statement that is factually correct, was read as, by a significant portion of the listening audience, as something that landed far closer to an admission than a defense. The ripple effect. The March 2026 Johnny Dang scandal spread outward in 3 distinct waves, each traveling in a different direction and finding a different set of names to fold into the narrative. The first wave traveled backward in time, more than a decade.
Oh, it's a long-ass video. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. It's a long video. I didn't realize it was that long, and I still ain't heard nothing about NBA Youngboy. Guess we'll take the ride, y'all. We gonna keep riding. Fuck it. We in the black box. It is what it is. I'm learning something, but I'm also getting confirmation for things that I've already understood, believe, heard, and some things I already told you are being confirmed. On my mama.
Backward to a July 2014 moment that most people in the conversation had either forgotten or never known about in the first place. Chief Keef had been a documented Johnny Dang customer for years, wearing the shop's custom pieces the way serious collectors approach heritage brands, not just as ornamentation, but as a declaration of belonging to a specific tier of the culture. In July 2014, he walked into a K Jewelers at a California mall and placed his Johnny Dang pendant and his diamond watch on a standard handheld diamond tester, the thermal conductivity device found at most jewelry counters, designed to distinguish diamond material from common simulants like cubic zirconia or moissanite. Both pieces registered green. Green in the language of that tester means diamond, not glass, not zirconia, not any of the ordinary substitutes that get slipped into cheaper pieces. Keef posted the result on Instagram. When you see green, Who's smart enough to know what that means? In 2014, it was a clean, confident flex. In 2026, when YouTube recap channels excavated the clip and placed it alongside the new CVD allegations, it became something layered and troubling in ways Keith could not have anticipated when he first posted it. Because the problem at the center of every claim in this scandal is precisely this. Basic diamond testers measure thermal conductivity. The device Keith used in 2014 was structurally incapable of answering the question the 2026 scandal was actually asking, not whether the stones were diamonds, but whether they came from the earth or from a laboratory. His test proved the pieces were not obvious counterfeits. It could not and did not prove anything about the origin of the stones. The second wave traveled northwest from Houston into Chicago, and it arrived via King Yella. Shortly before March 26, 2026, King Yella went live. His broadcast covered O-Block history, King Von, internal Chicago drill politics, and the mythology that surrounds Parkway Gardens as a cultural institution. But in the course of a wide-ranging rant about image, status, and the visual economy of the drill scene, where iced-out jewelry is not decoration, but social infrastructure, a language that communicates rank and survival simultaneously, he made a claim that found its way into the scandal's orbit with the speed of a stray spark in a dry room. He alleged that questionable Johnny Dang pieces had been circulating among O-Block affiliates, not an itemized accusation, not specific pieces, specific names, specific transactions with documentation attached, but in a scandal already burning.
Probably really sized up them old block Chicago cats and thought they was the least and last people that would ever get hip to the whipping. He probably whooped a whole lot of them, especially that butter boy.
At scale across hip-hop's attention span, a claim from a credible Chicago voice suggesting the reach of the alleged fraud extended into one of the most mythologized circles in drill was sufficient to generate its own cascade of content. The third wave of the ripple connected directly to Lil Durk, and it relied entirely on footage and posts that were already years old, stripped.
That looked like a Jay-Z type right there. He really looked it like Jigga. I swear to God.
Of their original context and redeployed in service of a narrative they were never designed to support. In September 2021, in the midst of the wave of celebrity jewelry fraud stories that crested with the high-profile Lil Baby fake Patek Philippe scandal, a $400,000 watch purchased on the secondary market from a New York jeweler that turned out not to be what it was sold as, Lil Durk posted 2 Instagram stories that were immediately screenshotted and spread across hip-hop media. The first, "Stop buying all this jewelry without knowing what you doing. A lot of the shit fake and some is overpriced. Get one jeweler and stick to him. I'm telling you, y'all are."
Say you don't look like Jay-Z right there.
Gonna be pissed when the truth.
That's exactly basically what 50 said. How he say stick to one jeweler. Woo, woo. He said, if you don't know your jeweler, if you don't know your jewels, you better know your jeweler. Oh, my mama. Fuck that. I don't see why a man needs more than a $2,000-$3,000 watch. What is it gonna do for you? Shit's crazy.
Come out. The second, posted months later in early 2022. Don't blame the rapper or athletes no mo. Blame the jeweler for selling them that bogus ass shit. At the time, Complex, XXL, and Revolt treated these as industry-wide consumer warnings. No jeweler was named. No specific shop was identified. Durk was speaking about the ecosystem broadly. The secondary market, undisclosed synthetics, overpricing, and the broader culture of accepting what a jeweler tells you without independent verification. His advice to pick one trusted jeweler and commit to that relationship was practical counsel, not a targeted accusation.
Yes, Johnny. You ain't going to him, don't go to nobody.
Lil Durk inside Johnny Dang's shop getting a permanent grill fitted, endorsing the man directly on camera as his personal jeweler of choice. The footage told a story that the misleading 2026 titles actively concealed, and yet the titles generated clicks in the hundreds.
People tend to think, in one sense, having a good life is growing up and getting a good job, getting hired by the white man. I tend to think that growing up and being able to hire a white man would be awesome versus getting hired by one. Then we also tend to think getting enough money to go spend our money with non-blacks is another flex. But when we look at Michael Jordan, I think it's a bigger flex to have non-blacks spending their money to wear Jordans.
Of thousands, because the algorithm rewards the framing, not the facts behind it. Smaller voices got pulled in too. An artist named Money Gang Slugga spoke on camera about switching from Johnny Dang to a different jeweler he called King Johnny, citing extended wait times and the feeling that the shop prioritized major celebrities at the expense of newer clients still building their name.
we had ordered this piece from Johnny Dang, and I don't know what was going on. This was like the time the baby and them was going crazy, going to get shit from him.
His specific complaint was not about diamond authenticity. It was about service, about the experience of waiting 90 days for a piece while watching the shop post celebrity clients in and out in 3 or 4 days. But in the climate of March 2026, any story about leaving Johnny Dang for a different jeweler got absorbed into the larger narrative automatically.
Sit down and talk to him for a minute and see what I got going on.
That was what he wanted from a jeweler, a conversation, a human relationship where the client felt seen as something more than a transaction, what he felt he was not receiving at Johnny Dang. By the time the ripple had moved through Houston, through Chicago, through the broader rap internet, Johnny Dang's reputation was under pressure from multiple directions simultaneously, and none of the rappers whose names were appearing most prominently in the headlines had produced receipts, independent lab reports, or legal filings to anchor the claims. The court of public opinion was running on social media momentum, recycled footage, and the raw credibility of insider voices who had their own reasons to speak, which meant that when Johnny Dang gave his full response, the ground he was standing on was already shaking. The verdict. Johnny Dang did not respond to the March 2026 wave the way the internet expected him to. There were no diss tracks, no threats fired back across social media, no public war of words with anyone who had spoken against him. Not Sauce Walka, not Plug Geo, not the recap channels amplifying this.
Oh, when a gangster hit a lick, what are you gonna argue for after he already passed? I'm gonna sit back, laugh, and count his cash. Point at your dumb ass.
Story to millions of viewers. The man who had built his empire from a flea market booth in Houston by treating every client the same, from the walk-in customer with $500 to the Grammy-winning artist with $500,000, handled the most public crisis of his career with the same measured, unhurried energy he had always projected. His response had actually begun in August 2024, when Sauce Walka first went public with the grill switch. In the days after the reveal, Dang released a 4-part Instagram video series. He did not come out swinging. He came out with something far more disarming. Visible hurt, the voice of a man who felt genuinely betrayed by someone he had served for 2 decades and who believed, or claimed to believe, that the entire public spectacle could have been avoided with a private conversation over dinner. The line that went viral from those videos was not a threat. It was not a rebuttal of any specific allegation.
No, talking private about what? Only thing you could possibly say is, yo, somebody sold me these in place of real diamonds, and nobody's going to believe that. So if you're not, I mean, what are you going to say? You tried to offer free stuff, he wasn't feeling it. And yeah, you was doing bullshit, but that's for my reason. I would have had to get the free shit, get you for some more free shit. I probably would have really did some nigga shit to you. Yeah, we got even. Oh, my mama.
It was a demand for basic respect, a line that landed harder than any counter-accusation could have. You don't need to put my name in there, but if you mention my name, put some respect on my name. If not, keep the fuck my name out your mouth. He revealed that he had reached out to Sauce Walka before any of this became public, that he had attempted to arrange a dinner, a face-to-face conversation, a way to address whatever had deteriorated in the relationship before it became a headline seen by millions. That attempt produced nothing. And so here they were. On the CVD question, the central allegation, the one that, if proven, would represent not just a reputational crisis, but potential legal exposure. Dang did not offer a categorical denial. Instead, he offered an observation about the nature of the stones.
It's true, though. As many lawsuits we hear about these days, wonder why ain't nobody sued. But, yeah, I just feel like take this to court then. If he doing foul business, if a nigga got caught out here doing fraudulent business to that degree, believe you probably wouldn't only get sued, you get prosecuted.
Themselves, that the difference between a lab diamond and a natural diamond is nearly impossible to see with the naked eye, that even a regular consumer cannot tell the difference. That statement is factually accurate in every respect, and it was heard by a significant portion of the internet not as an educational clarification, but as the most damaging kind of near admission, one that answered the wrong question while leaving the right one conspicuously unanswered. He said you cannot tell the difference by looking. He did not say every piece he had ever sold. Carried GIA certification confirming natural origin. The gap between those two statements became its own conversation. By late March 2026, Dang had shifted his social media strategy toward a sustained transparency campaign. He posted diamond testing videos from inside the shop's manufacturing floor. He documented the in-house stone setting, gold casting, and quality control processes with an openness that had not previously characterized his content at the same level of granularity. He escalated a campaign he had been running for months, exposing counterfeit Johnny Dang operations, overseas scammers who had built mirror websites lifting his brand identity wholesale, street jewelers in other cities selling imitations with his name on them, and viral Chinese operations copying his actual videos and posting them under fraudulent accounts. He made an offer that circulated widely. Any customer who found and reported a fake piece carrying his brand could send him a screenshot on Instagram and be entered into a random drawing for a free authentic item from the shop. He positioned himself not as the source of the problem, but as the primary defender against it, the man whose legitimate reputation was being weaponized by imitators and who was actively working to expose them. And then, without a formal announcement or a press conference, the story resolved itself in the way that much hip-hop conflict eventually resolves. Sauce Walka and Johnny Dang reportedly met face-to-face at a Houston community event and squashed it. A handshake in the city where the fire had started, the 20-year relationship that had publicly fractured was publicly declared repaired, or at least no longer active as a war. The raid on the Houston store, a viral rumor that spread across social media claiming authorities had descended on Dang's flagship location to investigate fraud allegations.
If it really happened the way Sauce Walka say it happened, you got booked, you got robbed, bro. How did you just squash it over a handshake at a chance meeting? He probably spoke up on what he gonna need at that meeting. I trust Sauce Walka got something more out of it than that. I don't think he just went out like that. But that's crazy how, you know, you spend all this money on jewelry and without a proper education, man, you don't have no idea what you really got. And me personally, unless it's doing a gift with sentimental value, I personally don't have a preference of, you know, natural over lab tested diamonds at this point. Oh my mama.
Let me get you on camera. Where you from?
California.
No, for real. You know, I'm serious though.
Watts, baby.
I know where you from though. Where you from?
Eastside PJ Watts.
I'm from Grape Street Rock, nigga.
Right.
They call you, homie?
Big Slice.
Big Slice?
Yes, yes.
All right, nigga. They call me Puto, cuz.
Right.
You wasn't that person. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.